What's going on, YouTube? It's your boy, Tier 1 Decor, and let me ask you a couple questions. First off, do you like Gabumon? Hopefully the answer to that question was yes, and at least it wasn't, I hate him. Second question, do you like strong decks? I know the answer to that question is yes because you're watching this video. You know what you clicked. Yeah, if the answer to those were positive or favorable, then I have good news for you. Today's deck is a Tier 1 deck with Gabumon that is insane. For BT7. BT7, not 6. But you BT6 guys, you're probably sticking around because of Gabubond, but don't worry, I got something for you. Anyway, let's take a look at the deck today, and let's hop right into it. Okie doke. So today we're going to be running a BT7 Gabubond / hybrid deck that is incredibly fast, incredibly annoying, and all around strong. So first off, the eggs, I've got 4 copies of Wubamon. At this point, are there any other blue eggs? I don't know. But yeah, 4 copies of Wubamon. You know what he does. He draws cards if there's no sources. I've also got 1 copy of Cattlemon. I literally have this just for the alt-art flex. You don't have to run this. And in fact, there's actually a trend right now in Japan where a lot of players are opting to forego the 5th card because the meta is so fast right now. And then oftentimes you don't even need it. It also helps with consistency, but for me, I gotta flex a little bit. Now, taking a look at the level 3s, we've got 4 copies of BT6 Gabumon. Really useful guy here. So every time you play a mat on either turn, he gets +1 memory. That's not so useful. You're really just holding this off for your Gabubond of friendship later on, which, again, his inheritance effect allows you to attack 1 more time or become active once more if he has Gabubond or Gabumon Bond of friendship in the name. The second one is going to be, the second set of cards here for level 3 is going to be another Gabumon. This one's from the EX series. There's a couple different Gabumon you can run. This is the one that I run. I think this is probably one of the better builds. It doesn't have any special effects. You could use the one that does draw cards on its on-play effect, but I opted for the inheritance effect here, which allows you to look at the top 3 cards of your deck, and if you have a Tamer or a Gabumon, then you can add them to your hand. Again, I just like the consistency here of synergizing with the hybrid deck and getting Tamers. Now, the deck has 2 modes. The first mode is the Gabumon Bond of Friendship mode, which allows you to swing for 3 security on virtually any given turn, as long as you have a Mat and a Gabumon on the board and a Bond of Friendship in hand. The second mode is actually going to be the hybrid, which starts off with, here level 3s, the 4 copies of Bokomon, who's... Look, if you are planning to play BT7, get 4 copies of this card for every single deck you're going to run, because he's that important. Again, white level 3 Digimon. On play, let's look at the top 5 cards of your deck and grab a hybrid type or a 10 warriors type. Ignore that last part, it's really just the hybrid type you want. And 1 tamer card, so 1 hybrid, 1 tamer, and add them to your hand. And then whenever you digivolve from a tamer into a hybrid Digimon, you basically gain 2 memory. So that basically sets every hybrid you have that digivolves from a tamer free digivolve. So yeah, it's super important to have this card for not just this deck, but any deck you're going to be running in BT7 is virtually necessary. I actually had to go to the card shop the other day and grab like 6 more copies of him. Moving on to level 4s, more about the hybrids here. We've got 4 copies of the BT7 Chakumon, who again is a hybrid, allows you to digivolve from a tamer for 2. And additionally, whenever he digivolves, or whenever he's digivolved into, you can destroy one of your opponent's Digimon's sources. Moving right along, we've got 4 copies of the Garurumon, which, again, another hybrid. It lets you digivolve from a tamer for a 2 cost. Thanks, Bokomon, for that being free. And then if it comes from if there's a hybrid underneath, or the special tamer for this guy, Kojiro, you basically can gain jamming for the turn. And then finally, the last set of level 4s here, again, also hybrids. You can say, again, the deck has 2 modes, and the second one is hybrid. This one is Blizzardmon, same deal as Garurumon, being able to digivolve from a tamer for 2 or 0 if you have the Pokemon on the board. And then if he has a Hybridmon, if he has a hybrid type or the special tamer, what's this guy's name again? Tomoki, in his sources, then one of your opponent's Digimon without sources cannot attack or block until the end of the next turn. So a little bit useful for stall, but there's other cards that also do this effect for cheaper, and we'll take a look at those later. Moving right along to level 5s, we've got 4 copies of the hybrid Beowulfmon. Super useful guy here. Allows you to pull back a level 4 from his sources, and then your opponent has to do the same thing, and they have to send level 4, I believe, back to their hand. Is that correct? Yeah, back to their hand. And yeah, that's if you have a hybrid in your sources, but because of this deck, that's pretty much always going to happen. Additionally, he's one of the level 5 hybrids that allow you to Digivolve for a cost of 1 if you have a tamer in the sources of the Digimon that is Digivolving from. So basically, he becomes a 1 Digivolve cost for this deck at pretty much any turn. And rounding out the hybrid version or part of the deck, we've got 4 copies of Magna Garurumon, having a really similar effect to Beowulfmon. Once per turn, you can, whenever you attack and when you Digivolve, which is pretty good, you can take a card in this card's sources and return to your hand. And when you do, your opponent has to send a card of the same level as the card that you return to your hand to their hand as well. And then also, whenever a card is sent back to your hand, or whenever your hand size is increased from a card's effect, you get to unrest or unsuspend this Digimon so it can attack again. Again, 4 copies of this bad boy, super useful from BT7, and yeah, look forward to that. Now we're gonna hop, skip, step right back over to the Gabumon or Gabubond chunk of the deck, and that is 4 copies of, you guessed it, Gabumon Bond of Friendship. Being able to, if you have a tamer, this Digimon becomes active when you attack once per turn, which means you can attack 2 times. 3 times if you have this Gabumon in its sources because of its inheritance effect. And then every single time this card attacks, your opponent has to return a level 5 or lower Digimon from the board to the bottom of the deck. So this guy is super useful on turns where you can't just win the game outright to just clear off and remove really annoying Digimon from your opponent's side of the board. So this guy is really useful for turns where if you can't just win the game outright, you can send back Digimon and clear your opponent's board while also doing a bit of a security attack damage. And taking a look at some of the options of support for the deck, we've got 4 copies of the EX1 booster option Ice Wall. This card is pretty much a 4 of staple now in pretty much any blue deck in all of BT7. Being able to, for 1 cost, you give every single one of your opponent's Digimon the effect. If they attack, your opponent loses 2 memory. It would not surprise me if this card became limited in the future because its stall potential is so powerful. I think there's, again, not a blue deck that doesn't run this card at 4 copies. And taking a look at some of the tamers. Again, this is a hybrid deck, so you need tons and tons of tamers, and this deck does have them in useful little guys like Davis. Yeah. Your minimum 3 memory tamer Davis here also allows you to cycle through the deck and look at the top 3 cards and grab a blue Digimon, add it to your hand, and then on any given turn, have a minimum 3 memory to work with. Moving right along to some of the BT7 tamers. I've got 4 copies of Koji Minamoto. I don't know what this guy's name is in English. If you guys know, let me know in the comments below. I never actually saw this guy or got to this guy in the TV show. But again, security effect, drop him like normal. And then if you have 5 hybrid or tamers in your hand or the trash, put them underneath this card. And additionally, count this as level 5 to Digivolve into your Magna Garurumon for 4 cost. So, not bad. It allows you to, it kind of gives you that backup option of being able to just go into your Magna Garurumon if things are looking dire for you and you don't have much on the board except this guy. And then, of course, in his inheritance effect, once per turn, whenever you add a card to your hand by a card's effect, gain 1 memory, and this Digimon that this guy is under cannot be blocked for the turn. Which means your Magna Garurumon is basically 2 swings for free that can't be touched. And finally, last bit of tamers for the deck. I've got 4 copies of Matt. You need Matt Yoshida. Great guy. Yeah, Yamato in Japanese if you're interested in that, but it's a Gabubond deck. It's partly Gabubond, so you need this guy so that you can get to your Bond of Friendship for free, basically, or for 3 cost. Additionally, whenever you move a Gabumon from your raising area to the board, draw an extra card, gain an extra memory for the turn. Not bad. And yeah, that's the deck. It really is just 2 blocks, the hybrid chunk that came out in BT7 and the Gabubond, which is so strong in BT6. Spoilers if you haven't got there yet in English, but BT6 Gabubond is like tier 1, guaranteed. And yeah, you just put them together and they're still strong. They work perfectly. You don't have any level 3s because of your hybrids. Your Gabumon becomes all your level 3s. You don't have any level 7s because of your hybrids. So your Bond of Friendships become your level 7. They're at the opposite ends of the deck, and then everything else in the middle is just hybrids who are super fast and very powerful because of Pokemon. Anyway, guys, thanks for watching. Let me know if you would change anything or add some cards. If you have any questions about the deck in the comments below. I'll be reading there. And yeah, last thing before I get out of here. Look, I'm trying to get to at least 1,000 subscribers, and 96% of you guys, according to the stats, I'm looking at the stats, that's right. 96% of you folks are not subscribed. Do me a favor, if you've been watching the videos, if you've seen at least, you know, if you got this far, got to the end of this one, if you ever hit the subscribe button, hit the like button, and that would super, super, super be appreciated. Thank you very much, guys. I'll catch you next time. Be good.